Well, guys, let's talk about Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. It's been reported by Shams that Giannis's future in Milwaukee is far from settled. And over the offseason, there were many speculations on what teams will be looking to trade for Giannis. But we actually know what team piqued his interest and which team actually called about a potential Giannis trade. And that's the New York Knicks. The Milwaukee Bucks actually picked up the phone to call and see if they can come to a deal between the two. And they weren't able to come to agreement about a deal. The Bucks have made it clear they want Giannis to stay in Milwaukee and want him to compete for an NBA championship. Now, with the roster construction they recently came up with, cutting Damian Lillard, freeing up some cap space, and also signing Miles Turner, they believe that was enough to kind of keep him to stay, and they're trying to convince Giannis that they can compete in a weak Eastern Conference. And while Giannis has said on multiple occasions, he's want to compete for an NBA championship, and if the Milwaukee Bucks are that team, then he'll stay with the team. We've seen over the last 4 seasons that the Milwaukee Bucks, since winning the NBA championship back in 2021, that they haven't made it past the first round. They've lost in the first round to every team they faced. Now, that's a problem for Giannis because Giannis is, again, looking to win. He's voiced that so many times. In a recent interview, Media Day, about a day or 2 days ago, Giannis said that I'm paraphrasing here, but around 6 to 7 months is the time frame of where he looks at himself as human, and if he doesn't see any future with the Bucks in the 6 to 7 month time period, he's going to look to want to leave and request a trade. I think that's completely fair because the Bucks have shown for the past 4 seasons they can't put a competent roster around him. And every deal that John Hurst, the Milwaukee Bucks GM, every deal they've made without talking to Giannis first. The Holiday Lillard trade experiment, that wound up not working. Even though they got a great player, Damian Lillard, in return, Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo just didn't mesh well together. And because of them not meshing well together, it didn't equal to them getting past the first round. Again, like I said. And they wound up cutting him. So you got an all-star level, a top 75 player, the all-time player level, but you weren't able to at least compete in the East with that player. Now, injuries have something to do with it. A lot of games, Giannis and Damian Lillard were still trying to figure out and not play together, and they weren't able to play together. But before cutting Damian Lillard, they should have at least talked to Giannis to see if that's what he wanted, if he wanted to move on from Damian Lillard, to move on from the potential duo they could have been. And yes, the experiment was long, but at the same time, I think Hurst should have talked to Giannis about that instead of going and get Miles Turner, because we don't know if Giannis necessarily wanted that. And if you're a franchise wanting to keep arguably the best player in the world, to be honest, he's like a top 3-4 player, but arguably the best, he has a case for it. If you want to keep a player like that, then you got to talk to your player and know what he wants. Again, the Bucks haven't made it past the first round. I think they decided to cut Lillard because of the cap space issue. And the only major signing, again, that they did was Miles Turner. That acquisition, again, like I said, is not enough to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo, in my opinion, on this team. The Bucks have no long-term vision. They don't have any first-round picks till 2031. And their roster is just, even in a weak Eastern Conference, is not competent enough. I have the Atlanta Hawks, I have the Orlando Magic, I have Cleveland Cavaliers, and the New York Knicks. Those 4 teams alone are above them. Not to mention you have the 76ers who can compete. I mean, that's at least 5 teams above them. And do I see them making a playoff push in terms of getting to the Eastern Conference Finals or getting to the Finals? No, because Giannis seems like he's the only player that's competent on this team. So if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, I would look to trade him before the trade deadline. And in the 6 to 7 month time span, I would look to trade him in that time span. Why? Well, you don't want Giannis to walk for free. Giannis has one more year after this year, and then he can opt to be a free agent. If he opts to be a free agent, you get nothing for him. And the Milwaukee Bucks honestly don't have a lot. They have a little bit of cap space now, and then they don't have any young players on their team, one. And then two, they don't have many young players that they can draft for in the next coming years, not until 2030, which is like 5-6 years from now. If you're in the Milwaukee Bucks, you have to get assets, win now players, but also players that are young and that can help develop your organization. Because in my opinion, Giannis is the only reason why they're in playoff competition. If they didn't have Giannis, they wouldn't be anywhere near playoff contention. And this is a very weak East right now, especially with a lot of the injuries that are going on with Boston and the Indiana Pacers. They're two superstars. If you have that many injuries going on and you're still not able to compete in the East, and you have arguably a top 3 player right now in the game, you got to look to trade him to be able to get young stars to grow the organization and grow the team, so then you can potentially be in that winning column again. So one team that I do see a lot of hype around, because to me, Giannis's request for the Knicks, I don't think that's going to work out, because one, they don't have picks as well, and then two, they're not trying to give up, I don't think, Mikal Bridges or Karl Anthony Towns. And right now, in Mikal Bridges' contract, I know specifically you can't trade for him. So with that being said, there's only a few teams that the Bucks could trade with in order to benefit them and also benefit Giannis as well, benefit both parties. One is the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets have a lot of assets. They have a lot of picks as well, but they have young players, which the Milwaukee Bucks, again, should look to shoot for. Another team I would recommend is the Spurs. Now, the Spurs have a lot of young players, a lot of rookie players that they're still on their rookie contracts. So it all depends, but I think Giannis is not going to be in Milwaukee Bucks 6 to 7 months from now. I think that was a timetable that he set on purpose, and I think he'll be traded soon. So again, y'all let me know y'all thoughts. And until next time, guys, Milos out. Peace.